Hello, beautiful. Happy Monday. I'm used to saying happy Friday, but here we are in our group coaching session. The last one of May. I can't believe how fast this year is going. I hope everyone is feeling really good and confident in the steps that they're taking. So I had a question about reviewing the information with the Dutch hormone testing. And so I want to give you a little bit of background of why I offer these testings within the formula. So if you don't know, I literally had to pay for everything, every medical procedure that we went through, and obviously all the holistic support we went through as well. So I know how expensive this can be. And I am very aware that functional medicine in itself is very expensive and kind of being pushed as, I like to want to say it, but like a rich man's game, right? Like if you have money, you have the access to it because it's not covered by insurance and it's not the norm within like NHS and the public health system in Canada. So I know things could really add up, especially if you're like me, who went through medical treatment before and then decided to use holistic stuff, which now I'm trying to really encourage people to do it the opposite way around, do all the holistic stuff before you move into medical treatment if it's needed. So my really big goal, and I'm super passionate about making this information really accessible to as many people. So I started the group coaching program and really played around with the price point and finding like a good balance of what serves me and what serves you and an equal trade of value. And I feel like I have really stumbled on like the perfect balance with the monthly membership. And the monthly membership just gives you access to the course. And as you guys know, once you're done with the course, you stop your membership, but that also means you lose access to the course and to the community. There is a buy-in option to gain 2 years full access to the course and 4 months of the group coaching. And then if you want the group coaching after the 4 months, I think it's like $47 a month. But so yeah, within the formula, I wanted the functional testing, the three main ones that I think are valuable to be accessible as well. So when you're in the formula, you can buy these testing. I don't up the price. I don't even like handle the money. You guys pay the testing companies directly. I just am kind of like the messenger. I like put in the like addresses and all those things and get the test results and pass them on. Um, so this testing can be expensive, and so I don't add a review price to them unless you want that. Those are add-ons. So if you get your test results and you're like, oh my God, this is like hieroglyphics, I really can't read this and really interpret what I need to do. That is a service I offer. It's more of a one-to-one. You move kind of more into a one-to-one aspect from the formula. And I don't necessarily, or I don't read and review results within the group coaching. There's several reasons for this. The main reason is the way that I was trained is that we don't take test results and just analyze the test results and review and give our recommendations on what those results say. So test results for us help us just give us a different picture, a different piece of the puzzle into what's going on. And what we do is really get to know you, and we want to hear about your symptoms. We want to hear about what's going on. We want to hear about your mental, emotional health. We want to see what your diet actually is. We want to piece all these things together and put the test results in as like almost like a pillar, right? Like, okay, we're going to prop this up because everything that we see, all the tangible things that you can talk about and you can feel, these test results are literally just backing us up. Like, look, okay, your estrogen is super high, your cortisol is super low. This is why you're feeling this way. So that's like the real main reason I can't and I won't review test results, just not knowing you within the community. And obviously group coaching, there's just too many people to get to know everyone in depthly. So it's got to be into like a one-to-one situation. I'm just trying to think of why the other reason. I think that's like the main reason, other than there's just too many people to read test results. Obviously, I have to take the time to really dive into the test results and see really what's going on. And so that's just another kind of like thing of my personal time. And then what you get when you move into that one-to-one aspect is a one-to-one review with me and like a specific 30-day action plan for you. And I take your form, your all about me form that you fill in, and I use that and me getting to know you on our one-to-one consultation and really devise this like very specific action plan. But I don't know, I felt very called to review this one and help and support, and so I did. That's just how I am. I just follow my intuition. And I think it will give everyone a really good sense of what that review kind of looks like if they have done the testing. So over this review that I did, there was some just questions about, okay, I can see that my cortisol is low. I can see my estrogen is low, but there's a marker on there that it's like your overall cortisol response is okay. So that marker actually is how much cortisol was made in the body and has been processed through the liver and the kidneys. So it's not a like, oh, you have enough cortisol, you're totally fine, like that's okay. It's just a snapshot of everything that went through your body. So um so with the other markers first, let's get into that. So like your DHEA, your dopamine, those are on the low side, and even they're on the normal range, but they're low, and they're the precursors for everything else. So you got to think of like your hormone system as like a waterfall, right? Like if you have a slow drip at the top of this waterfall, it's gonna like it's not going to create a lake, right? It's not going to create this beautiful flowing atmosphere, and everything that that waterfall needs to work properly, it's just going to get weaker and weaker as it goes down. So even though they're in the normal range, they're not, for your age and for where you are, and especially for fertility, it's not, we want to see those a lot higher so they can do the things they need to do. And especially with the DHEA, their precursor for estrogen and testosterone. So so it's important when you're looking at these tests as well that we are not just looking at the individual markers and going like, oh, okay, well, I'm fine in that area, so I don't have to worry about it. Remember, we're one, and we're really going to be focusing on, when it comes to the Dutch hormone test, the endocrine system, right? The pituitary gland, the hypothalamus, and the adrenals are like vital for all these other things to work. And I think sometimes we just hyper focus on the ovaries and they're not like producing what they need to do. So here's some hormones, and that will be fine. Where like we got to look at, well, where in the system is it breaking down? Um, so with the low estrogen and the cortisol, so let's start with the estrogen. Okay, so the hypothalamus releases CRH, and that stimulates the pituitary gland to release ACTH, and then the adrenals release cortisol. So with your low cortisol, we're really looking at your endocrine system here that is probably just really sluggish. And so we really want to tap into kind of the more mental and emotional side of the course and the stress levels part of the course, where we're really actively decreasing our stress. We're slowing down. And this is like kind of the hard part of like looking at these tests and then not knowing you enough to say like, does this resonate with you? And maybe most women that I work with, I would say like 99.9%, including myself, are like super type A, always on the go, high achieving. You might have, a really stressful work environment. You might feel like you are you can't say no to people. So that aspect of the course is like probably the biggest thing to really dive into and focus on. And I know sometimes you could just like easily go through it and be like, oh, okay, I do it. But your test results like are a big shining light of like, no, this is serious. You need to really slow down because your endocrine system is really suffering. And this is producing low estrogen, which is vital for the growth of eggs, right? So remember, estradiol is the hormone that is getting ready for ovulation. So it's prepping your egg to pop out. And when you get that LH surge, that's when the egg is released and the progesterone is needed to maintain the uterine lining. I mean, the estrogen is obviously helping with the uterine lining and stuff as well. But it's really important for that egg quality. So estrogen are made in the adrenals and the ovaries, but remember the pituitary gland makes FSH, which we all know here, among like other hormones, of course, but that stimulates the estrogen from the ovaries, right? So we're looking at the pituitary gland. What do we need to do to help support that gland to do what it needs to do to help produce that estrogen as well? And let me see, I've got lots of notes. So yeah, so with your test results, just looking at the results and not knowing who you personally are, it definitely seems that there is still some stress issues and that your endocrine system is taking a big hit. You might be in a type of adrenal fatigue. So it's really important. I'm pretty sure you would be through the course where you have access to I think week 9 or week 10, with the adrenals, the thyroid, and the gut health. So that section could be really important to look into. So obviously with some tips and stuff from your test results, like I just said before, your stress levels, you got to get really honest with yourself. And are you slowing down? Are you managing your stress? Have you been able to cut out the things you can possibly cut out? Are you saying no more often? Are you giving yourself time to rest and relax? I know this is like a really big thing. I mean, it's even hard for me sometimes just to be like, it's okay to sit on the couch for an hour and literally do nothing, not watch TV, like do nothing, or like read a book, or whatever it is that maybe you don't feel productive, but really tune into that. Also, rest and relaxation and slowing down could be also being creative. So, okay, maybe you're not sitting on the couch doing nothing, but maybe you allow yourself to have some creative time where maybe you don't think that's very productive. It's just like, oh, well, I'm not achieving. I'm not doing work or working on my house or cleaning my house or whatever. You're literally just doing something like flower arranging, right? Like that leads to kind of nothing from like like a type A point of view, but from a joy point of view, from living life point of view, that's very productive and very meaningful. So are you able to bring more of those things into your life? Your mental and emotional health will be very, very much tied to this as well. So there is a part in the course about tapping into old traumas. And I even gave you guys my, life example, because I think I'm a really good example of like not having any big major traumas in my life, but just little ones that really added up for me and really put subconscious beliefs into myself about self-love and self-worthiness and all those things. So that would be really, really important for you to look into as well. There's also the part with the vagus nerve that it would be super, super vital for you to do as well, to help with the flow of the endocrine system and help release some of those old emotions, or even the emotions that have been stored up just from infertility alone. Really tap into that and get that moving. That would be really, really useful. Obviously, your gut health is super important. And I know you're working on that. You got the gut health test, which is really good. And I know that test comes with really good guidance on what to do in each marker. So it's really good. You can easily kind of, maybe you don't really fully understand it, but there's very good action steps for every aspect of it. So I know you're working on that. So more tangible things to do. You could try seed cycling. It's not something that I've put into the course, but maybe I should. And it's not something that I use or talk a lot about because I come from more of an autoimmune paleo background, and most people who come to me are like, want to try that out. So obviously seed cycling wouldn't be something that I would highly recommend. And like, I think half the seeds like are off the table for me because of nightshades or whatever. Not nightshades, um that could be something that you can try to just help balance out the hormones, something tangible, because I know most of the stuff that you need to do doesn't feel like you're doing anything, right? It's really hard. But the slowing down, the reducing the stress, the mental emotional stuff, that's what's going to help resolve your hormone issues more than any kind of tangible things that I can give you. But you could do seed cycling. Definitely Epsom salt baths would be really beneficial. And then maca might be a very good supplement for you to try out and see how you go on that. And then there's obviously the links within the course, especially in the adrenal section, for adrenal support. So yeah, once again, without knowing a little bit more about you, the you might be in some type of adrenal fatigue right now. So that might be just kind of something to give you a little bit of a boost. We don't want to rely on just supplementation. You definitely want to be reducing as much stressors as you possibly can. But obviously those supplementations are there to just really kind of give us that extra boost, especially when we're dealing with fertility issues. So I'm not sure, this is another thing, if you're dealing with any thyroid issues, if you had thyroid tests done before, but if you aren't looking at thyroid issues right now, this is kind of like a really good like wake up sign, because obviously the thyroid is part of the endocrine system. And if you're already having pressure on your adrenals, your pituitary, and your hypothalamus, and you don't try your best to resolve these issues, and this is where I think a lot of secondary infertility comes in, or a lot of women dealing with thyroid issues after their first or their second pregnancy, is because they're maybe in this state, and because of their genetics, they're just not prone to fertility issues. is that pregnancy will absolutely, like, say you don't really change anything and you get pregnant and you're still living this really stressful lifestyle, and then you not trying, you are growing a baby, right? Your body literally will suck everything from you to give to that baby. um, it will just send you into those more noticeable thyroid issues that are seen on labs by normal doctors, right? But this is kind of like, from a functional standpoint, we can kind of look at this and go, okay, look, if you're not already having symptoms of thyroid issues, you could be heading down that way because you're putting a lot of pressure on these other aspects. So that is just something like really, I mean, this is, the thing that drives me the most is epigenetics. And I've talked, I don't know if, I don't know what like people hear and what they don't hear. But when I learned about epigenetics, even before getting pregnant with my first son, that was kind of the major light bulb that went off for me, that really switched from, I just want to be pregnant, to actually, this is like, I'm really playing Russian roulette with my children's lives if I'm not trying to do as much as I possibly can do. I mean, obviously nothing's set in stone. You don't have to be perfect. Like, I don't want to like freak anyone out. Like, if you have gluten during your pregnancy, it's not the end of the world, all those things, right? But if we can improve our health as much as we possibly can before getting pregnant, we're setting our children up for a better future, and we're setting ourselves up, because we are limiting the chances of all these issues that could possibly happen during pregnancy, which are so much like more common now because people are getting pregnant that are actually really unhealthy. And we're just deeming pregnancy as a sign of health, which, as we all know, is complete bullshit. But I hope this has helped. I hope I haven't confused you any more about your test results. But yeah, it's really down to those other glands in your body and really focusing on slowing down and going into recovering mode. And so even like checking into the exercise part of the course, and how we talk about slowing down with your exercise. So if you're really into big exercise right now, if you are having adrenal issues, you need to give your body more time to rest than being in recovery mode. And exercise, even though it has a lot of benefits for us, over exercising is actually causing more damage to your adrenals because you have to recover from those big things. So yeah, reach out underneath this. This will be obviously posted in the community section, and this is where you're watching it, obviously. Just reach out with any questions that you have. But I hope this has helped, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys in June. See you later.